Come on, Johnny, focus out there. Would you just concentrate for once? Come on, baby, you can do it. Focus. Now, have you heard these sayings or heard these phrases or something similar to your athlete? Now, I was watching a 12U basketball game and I heard the word focus or concentrate 38 times from either from the coaches or the parents in the stands. And that doesn't count what they said to their athlete in the car related to the word focus. Now, let me ask you, do you even know what the word focus and concentrate mean? Do you understand that focus and concentration is a skill set? So this person has to learn how to focus and concentrate. Now, has your athlete ever been taught how to focus or concentrate? Now, from the game that I was watching, I'm guessing not, because if the parents understood that focus and concentration was a skill, they wouldn't be yelling out the words focus or concentrate, but rather they would be using words to help reinforce what the athlete needs to do so that they can focus and concentrate. Now, there is a difference, and it's important as coaches and parents to understand this. For we want to reinforce the necessary skills in order for the athlete to focus as they're getting ready to perform their skill. Now, are you a parent or a coach of a youth athlete between the ages of 10 and 18, and you feel that they are not competing to the best of their abilities? Then if so, then this video is going to be for you. Now, sports parents and coaches, have you ever used phrases like mental toughness or the word focus or confidence when speaking to your athlete about their compete level? But have you ever asked and stopped and think, what do these terms really mean? And more importantly, how do they actually apply to athletic development? Now, if you don't understand them, then how is your athlete going to understand and apply them? Have you ever experienced your athlete struggling in their competition from a lack of focus or concentration? You might think that they're going through the motions or not taking the game seriously. Or you might tell them to focus just before they're getting ready to perform a skill, like maybe hitting a ball or shooting a free throw in basketball or possibly getting ready for a serve in tennis or in volleyball. Well, I specialize in teaching athletes the skills about how they can build their focus and concentration so that they can compete to the best of their abilities and have increase in enjoyment in their sports. Now, hello everyone. My name is Brian McSparron. I'm an elite athletic mindset coach and the owner of Superior Sports Psyche. And welcome to this YouTube series for sports parents and coaches where I'm breaking down some of the most important terms that relate to the mental game of sports. Now, if you have an athlete between the ages of 10 and 18, this series will be for you. Now, this video is part 3 of speaking and understanding the language of the mental game in sports. Now, if you missed the first 2 videos, the links for those will be listed below and also at the end of this video. And in those videos, I introduced terms related to confidence and mindset and how they relate to the athlete's participation in sport. Now, in this video, we're going to shift gears a little bit and we're going to talk about and speak about the words focus and concentration. Now, the reason these words are important is for parents and coaches to understand because they directly impact performance both in practices and in competitions. Now, the primary things that we're trying to do is to get the athlete to become present with themselves, and we want them to be present in the present moment. When an athlete applies the skills that allows them to focus and be in the present moment, then they are able to perform consistently because it will allow them to perform their skills correctly. They'll be able to block out distractions. We want the athlete to be locked into what they're doing and not worrying about the crowd or their opponent or even what their own negative self-talk might be saying to them. They'll make better decisions in the games. See, in fast-moving sports like hockey or soccer or football, they can process the game a lot faster and they'll be able to make smarter choices. While in sports that like golf and bowling, it will allow them to slow down the game. It will also allow them to maximize their training. See, when coaches are trying to teach them a new physical skill, they'll be able to concentrate and take in that feedback. And then finally, it will allow them to be resilient on the field. See, when athletes are able to focus and concentrate, they learn how to move on from mistakes. They're able to shift their focus to working the process, which results in a lot less anxiety in sport. See, when an athlete learns skills related to focus and concentration, it gives the athlete complete control in their minds, which will help them enhance their performance. So let's take a look at the words focus. See, when an athlete is focusing correctly, their goal is to direct their attention to a specific task or a goal while eliminating distractions. Now, when I speak to athletes about focusing during a skill like hitting a baseball, for example, I want the athlete to pick out what's the most important thing that they need to do in order to hit the ball. Well, the number one thing that they need to do is to see the ball. If they don't see the ball, then they can't hit the ball. So now we shift the focus from the word focus to the skill of seeing the ball. Now, as the hitter, I'm going to concentrate on seeing the ball. Now, the word concentrate means to keep your focus over a long period of time and have repeated focus throughout. So when I speak to athletes, I tell them that they need to concentrate on seeing the ball every time they are up to bat, no matter if there is no one on base or if the bases are loaded. They're looking to see the ball. So think about your athlete and their sport. If you want them to focus, what is the one thing that they need to do to focus on in order to perform their skill? So for an example, let's look at a tennis or a volleyball serve. First thing that they need to do is have a good toss. Okay, in soccer, if they're having a penalty kick, they want to have good contact with the ball. In basketball, if they're taking a free throw, it might be follow through to the basket. And a pitcher in baseball or softball, they need to see the target. So now when you are cheering and supporting your athlete, you're reminding them of the skill that they need to do and not just focus. So when your athlete is able to apply their focus skill set, it will help them to develop more confidence in their performance. When you see your athlete underperform in their game, it is not because of their physical skills. It's because their minds are allowing them to believe that they cannot succeed, which causes doubt in their performance. Now, in the first video, I explained that the mind drives the physical. What happens with athletes when self-doubt increases? Confidence decreases. See, when confidence decreases, performance decreases. So the more you can get a hand on it now, the more you'll be able to support your athlete when they need it and to help maintain their confidence. So let's get back to the list of the key words related to focus and concentration during athletic performance. But first, if you would like more guidance and tips on raising athletes to have confidence in their game, then check out my book, Raising a Resilient Athlete, to help build unshakable confidence in your athlete for success in sport and in life. Now, I wrote this book to help parents and coaches with tips and strategies that they can use to help their athlete on their youth sport journey. Now, for more information and to get the digital download, please check out the link that's in the description below. Now, when I coach athletes about the mental game, I focus on three components: developing their mindset, building confidence, and increasing their focus and concentration. Now that we understand the difference between the words focus and concentration, I want to take a look at a few other key terms and skills that we use to help reinforce focusing skills. Now, the first word I want to use is the word cue words. See, the brain can only focus on one thing at a time. So it's vital for the athletes to control their thoughts to what they need to focus on when they're trying to perform a skill. Take, for example, a swimmer who is looking to get ahead in their race. They need to have a good dive. So when the swimmer is on the starting blocks, we'll give them a cue word. And the cue word I like to use is explode. See, the word explode triggers her focus on what she needs to do when that gun goes off. See, if the swimmer is thinking that she needs to do this and that and all this other technical stuff about her race, then when that gun goes off, she's going to be a half a second behind because her focus is not where she needs to be. It's not in the present moment. So cue words are keywords or terms that we use to help simplify skills to help maintain the athlete's focus and concentration. So have your athlete think of different cue words that they can use in this sport to help them stay focused and maintain their concentration. Now this leads us to the next term. The next term I use is mental reps. See, our brain is a muscle, and many athletes don't know that, but it is. Our brain is a muscle. And if you want to develop it, you have to develop it in a certain way. And you need to train it just like you train for your physical muscles. Now, to develop our physical muscles, we do exercises and we do reps. Now, the same is true for our brain. So we teach athletes how to do mental reps. Now, mental reps is when the athlete practices skills or plays, but instead of doing them physically, they do it mentally. It's almost like a form of visualization, where the athlete is using their minds to see themselves performing the skills or the tasks that they're trying to do. Now, the reason the mental reps are so powerful is because the brain cannot tell if the situation that they're doing and developing in their minds is real or not. So when the athlete actually performs that action in real life, the brain has already been triggered because it already knows it's been there and it's been training for this. See, visualization is an advanced mental game skill to learn. And if your athlete wants to learn this skill, then contact a mindset coach who can help. Because visualization takes practice. It's almost like driving a car. But once you get it, it becomes automatic. Now, the next term I want to explain is something that you really can't train for, but it's something that just happens. And when it happens, it's just an amazing feeling to have as an athlete. And that is what we call the state of flow. Now, there is science behind flow state, but the easiest way to understand this is when an athlete is competing, they will describe their actions and their game like it just seemed like they were playing was just so effortless and that they were locked in. Or you might hear them say that they were in the zone and that they were in total state of enjoyment when they were playing. Now, people will experience a state of flow, for example, like when they're reading a book. They'll pick up a book and the next thing you know, it's 2 hours have passed by and they were just so locked in to that book. And the same thing happens in sports. You can't train for a flow state, but what happens is this, is when you have an action, and that's going to be playing a game, and that is just above your athlete's skill level. And what it's going to do is going to challenge them to perform. Now, the action is pretty much equal right about here. So here's your athlete's skill level. Here's where they're competing again. So it's going to challenge them just a little bit. Okay. However, if the action is too high compared to their skill level, then the athlete is going to get really frustrated because they're going to feel that they're just not good enough. Okay. Now the opposite is also true. If the action is too low, okay, but their skill is too high, then the athlete is going to get bored. Now the flow state is that happy medium, so that happy middle is where that challenge is just hard enough where it has to challenge your athlete's skill level. So when you're watching your athlete compete, listen to how they describe the game and determine if they were able to compete in that flow state. Now in my coaching program, I focus a lot on teaching athletes about the skills that relate to focus and concentration and how it applies to their game performances. Now once athletes see how to shift their focus from all the technical things that are going on to just being present, that's when the light bulb goes off. And you can see that the athlete has just had that aha moment in their development. Now, if your athlete is overthinking or they're losing their focus, then email me and let's teach your athletes these different skills on how to be in the present moment. Now, you can also check out my online course, The Resilient Athlete, where I help guide your athlete through the different topics of the mental game. And for more information on the Resilient Athlete course is listed below in the description. And again, check out my book, Raising a Resilient Athlete, as it is sure to open up some discussions and reflections about your own beliefs as it relates to sports. Now, in the next video, I'm going to discuss topics that relate to emotional control to help athletes manage stress, their nerves, and their emotional reactions. So be sure to click on that bell and subscribe so you know when that video comes out. And if you missed the first 2 videos of the series, click on these links.